Hi, and welcome to the Brookshire Brothers Country of Origin Labeling Training Module. Today we will be going over rules and procedures regarding country of origin labeling, also known as COOL. COOL is a labeling law that requires retailers to provide information to consumers regarding the source of certain foods referred to as covered commodities. The intent of this law is to provide consumers with additional information on which they can base their purchasing decisions. Firms who must follow these rules include all who are considered retailers as defined by the Perishable Agricultural Commodities Act. Brookshire Brothers falls under this definition and therefore must follow all guidelines. There are several exemptions to those who have to follow this rule, such as restaurants, salad bars, delicatessens, and other food service establishments located within retail establishments that provide ready-to-eat foods. Brookshire Brothers delis are included in this exemption and therefore do not have to provide country of origin labeling in their ready-to-eat foods. Covered commodities, which are the items that must have COOL information at the point of sale, include fresh and frozen fruits and vegetables, wild and farm-raised fish and shellfish, muscle cuts and ground of chicken, lamb, and goat meat, raw peanuts, pecans, macadamia nuts, and ginseng. We will now talk about processed foods, which are excluded from COOL requirements. Processed foods are considered items that are derived from a covered commodity by undergoing a change of character or by being combined with another food component. Change of character results from processes such as cooking, curing, smoking, or restructuring. This includes items such as fried chicken, canned vegetables, smoked trout, fish sticks, etc. Items such as these have undergone specific processing resulting in a change of character and are therefore excluded from COOL requirements. Covered commodities that have been combined with another covered commodity or substantive component are considered processed foods and are excluded from COOL requirements. This includes items such as sausage, mixed fruit cups, stuffed chicken, etc. When considering the change of character segment of the processed food definition, the following activities do not change the character of the commodity: blanching, chopping, cutting, dicing, removal of a seed, skin, stem, etc., polishing, slicing, trimming, waxing, adding sugar, or adding ascorbic acid. Now that you know what COOL is and what are and are not considered covered commodities, we will discuss the appropriate methods for presenting the country of origin information to our shoppers. COOL is meant to benefit our customers, so it is important to follow the rules for properly presenting the country of origin information in our stores. Country of origin designation may be typed, printed, provided it is conspicuous, in conformance with other federal labeling laws, and does not obscure other labeling information required by other federal regulations. The declaration of country of origin, and for some covered commodities, the method of production, must be legible and placed in a conspicuous location so as to render it likely to be read and understood by a customer under normal conditions. COOL labeling options at the point of sale include placard, sticker, twist tie, sign, band, pin tag, label, check boxes, or other display. You may use PLU stickers to convey country of origin information. However, the majority, meaning 50% or more, of the product must contain a sticker. Each individual item of produce does not have to have a sticker, and there is no need to add country of origin information on a sign when the information is on the PLU sticker. Note that stickers are not 100% effective. Therefore, if stickers do not adhere to the product, an alternate labeling option must be applied. When labeling covered commodities with country of origin information, there are some important things you should keep in mind that you should not do. You should not use symbols or flags alone to convey COOL information. They should always be accompanied by the country name. You should not use the disjunctive term or. For example, saying a commodity is a product of Thailand or Vietnam would not be acceptable. You should not use the term and or. For example, saying a commodity is the product of Canada and or Mexico would not be acceptable. You should not use the term may contain. For example, saying a commodity may contain products from US and Mexico would not be acceptable. Another distinction to be wary of when labeling covered commodities is the use of the adjectival form of a country name. As you may know, there are many varieties of produce and fish. Some varieties are named for a specific country but may be grown or caught in other parts of the world. An example of this is Chinese eggplant. This is the name of a variety of eggplant that can be grown in other parts of the world, including the US. Another example would be the Chilean sea bass. Chilean is the name of a variety of sea bass that can come from countries other than Chile. Using the variety name as a country of origin designation in these cases is not acceptable. On the other hand, using the ejectable form of a country name as a country of origin designation may be acceptable as long as it describes where the product is from as opposed to the variety name. Brazilian mangoes are mangoes grown in Brazil, for example, and Scottish salmon is salmon from Scotland. Using the ejectable form of Brazil and Scotland in these cases are acceptable cool declarations as they refer to where the product is from and not a variety of the product. Now we will go over country abbreviations for cool declarations. Here is a list of acceptable country abbreviations. With the exception of these few abbreviations listed here, when labeling country of origin designations for covered commodities, the country of origin needs to have its name fully typed out. When labeling covered commodities with country of origin information, the USDA allows state postal abbreviations to be used for products coming from states within the United States, as well as some state marketing programs such as Arizona Grown. However, Brookshire Brothers has elected to only use country labels and exclude state labeling. So, if you have a product that is from Texas or another state, please label it as product of USA. This also applies to regional designations. While the USDA allows some regional designations to suffice for country of origin labeling for some covered commodities, such as grown in the Hudson Valley, Brookshire Brothers has chosen to exclude this type of labeling and go purely with country designations. For remotely purchased products, such as internet sales and home delivery sales, retailers must provide country of origin notification either on the sales vehicle or at the time the product is delivered to the consumer. In this next section, we will go over cool rules and regulations regarding fish and shellfish. Cool regulations require that all farm-raised and wild-caught fish and shellfish be labeled. Farm-raised fish and shellfish are considered fish and shellfish that are harvested in controlled environments, including ocean ranch fish, shellfish harvested from leased beds, and fish and shellfish subject to production enhancements such as protection from predators, addition of artificial structures, and providing nutrients. This includes fillets, steaks, nuggets, and any other flesh from a farm-raised fish or shellfish. Wild fish and shellfish are considered fish and shellfish that are naturally born or hatchery-originated fish and shellfish released in the wild and caught, taken, or harvested from non-controlled waters or beds. This includes fillets, steaks, nuggets, and any other flesh from wild fish and shellfish. When labeling fish or shellfish, the label must convey country of origin as well as method of production. Method of production refers to the manner from which fish or shellfish were harvested, either controlled or non-controlled environments. In other words, you must label whether fish or shellfish were farm-raised or wild-caught as well as the country of origin. When labeling the method of production, acceptable diction includes farm-raised, farmed, wild-caught, and wild. Unacceptable diction for labeling method of production includes ocean-caught, line-caught, farmed in the wild, freshwater caught, fresh land raised, and the abbreviations WC and FR are also unacceptable. Fish and shellfish that are considered to be a processed food due to having undergone a change of character from processes including cooked shrimp, pickled herring, smoked salmon, fish sticks, and many more are excluded from cool requirements. Fish and shellfish that are considered to be a processed food due to being combined with another food component include stuffed flounder, breaded tilapia, salmon burgers, Cajun catfish, and others. These types of items are excluded from cool requirements. We will now transition to talking about determining origin for wild-caught and farm-raised fish and shellfish, whether that be a U.S. country of origin, multiple countries of origins, or a foreign country of origin. U.S. origin is derived from farm-raised fish and shellfish that are hatched, raised, harvested, and processed in the United States, or from wild fish and shellfish harvested in the waters of the United States or by United States flagged vessels, and processed in the United States and that have not undergone substantial transformation outside of the United States. For these fish and shellfish, there is no need for production steps such as hatched, raised, or harvested. Substantial transformation is a term designated by the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency when a new and different article of commerce emerges from a process with a new name, character, or use different from that possessed by the article prior to processing. Substantial transformation is used by Customs and Border Patrol to determine country of origin and is different and separate from Cool's definition of a processed food item. When labeling the country of origin for fish or shellfish, you may have fish or shellfish of the same type from different sources packaged together for sale to the consumer. In this case, the country of origin declaration should indicate all countries contained therein. For example, if you had a package of shrimp for sale that had shrimp from the US, Japan, and China, your country of origin declaration should read, product of US, Japan, and China. Imported fish or shellfish that have not undergone substantial transformation in the U.S. shall have country of origin declared by the U.S. Customs and Borders Protection upon entry into the U.S. For example, if you had salmon that had been imported to the U.S. from Chile and that had not undergone substantial transformation in the U.S., it should be labeled as product of Chile. However, imported fish or shellfish that have undergone substantial transformation in the U.S. should be labeled as from country X, processed in the U.S., or product of X, U.S. Here are a few examples of unacceptable declarations of country of origin for fish or shellfish. Notice none of these examples state what country these covered commodities are a product of. While we may know that Cape Cod is in Massachusetts, and domestic, or the Gulf, may or may not mean the U.S. to us, the product must be labeled with the name of the country from where it originated. Now that we have gone over fish and shellfish, we will discuss country of origin labeling in regards to muscle cuts and ground meat. For muscle cuts and ground meat, chicken, lamb, and goat must all be labeled with country of origin designations. Cuts of meats removed during the conversion of an animal to a carcass, as well as items sold as bones practically free of meat, such as a neck bone or femur bone, or free of fat, like chicken skin, are not cool covered commodities, and therefore do not have to be labeled. Muscle cuts and ground meat that have undergone a change of character from processes include items such as roasted chicken, salted lamb, smoked goat, and many others. These types of items are excluded from cool requirements. Muscle cuts and ground meat that are considered to be a processed food due to being combined with another food component include items such as lamb kebabs, chicken cordon bleu, and chicken salad. These types of items are also excluded from cool requirements. Like farm-raised and wild-caught for fish and shellfish, the production steps of muscle cuts and ground meat for chicken, lamb, and goat must be labeled. Production steps in the case of lamb, goat, and chicken mean where the animal was born, hatched, where the animal was raised, and where the animal was slaughtered, harvested. Where the animal was raised, in the case of chicken, goat, and lamb, refers to the period of time from birth until slaughter. In the case of animals imported for immediate slaughter, it is the period of time from birth until entry into the United States. For labeling purposes, the word harvested may be substituted for slaughter. So remember when labeling your muscle cuts for chicken, lamb, and goat that you must include your production steps as well as country of origin. The only exception to this rule is in the case of imported meats, for which production steps are not required. This is to say that if a goat, lamb, or chicken is born, raised, and slaughtered outside of the United States, and then that prepared meat is imported into the U.S., production steps do not have to be labeled, only the country of origin. So if a cut of lamb, goat, or chicken is labeled product of UK, it means that the meat was born, raised, and slaughtered in the UK and then imported to the US. Remember when labeling lamb, goat, and chicken that the term harvested may be used instead of slaughter. And also the term hatch may be used instead of born for chicken. When labeling the production steps for chicken, lamb, and goat, they may be listed in any order. For example, it could say slaughtered in the United States, born and raised in Mexico, or born in Italy, raised in France, slaughtered in the United States. Also, Abbreviations for animal production steps may be used as long as the abbreviation is clearly understandable to the consumer. For example, BRN could be used instead of born, or SLGHTRD could be used instead of slaughtered, and HRVSTD could be used instead of harvested. When labeling goat, lamb, and chicken that is in a display case, the cool designations may be listed on signs over the display case. Just remember to make sure that all the information is accurate. It is recommended to include the phrase "unless otherwise labeled" on the sign when individual packages within the display are of different country of origins. Signs should be species specific. For example, if you had chicken and goat cuts in a display case and both are from the US, you should have individual signs with the cool information for both meats. You should avoid using a sign over the display case that says something along the lines of "all meat product of the US." In this next section, we will transition away from cool, notification, and labeling and take a look at Brookshire Brothers' regulatory requirements with regard to maintaining records. Retailers are responsible for maintaining records for 1 year from the transaction date. All records may be electronic and/or hard copies. The purpose of record keeping is to ensure that we are conveying accurate country of origin information to consumers as provided by our suppliers. Suppliers have options as to how they convey country of origin information to their retail customers. Therefore, the types of records and contents of those records will vary. Some records may be in the form of a shipping manifest or invoice. Other records may be in the form of a box. To clarify, a pre-labeled package is considered a cover commodity that has the commodity's country of origin and method of production and the name and place of business of the manufacturer, packer, or distributor on the cover commodity itself, the package in which it is sold to the consumer, or the master shipping container. For cover commodities being shipped to your store from our warehouse, the warehouse load sheet manifest will constitute the necessary cool record. When a Brookshire Brothers truck from our warehouse arrives at your location, the truck driver should have the warehouse load sheet manifest. This contains all the items being delivered from the warehouse to your store, as well as the needed country of origin information for each of those items. The truck driver should hand the warehouse load sheet manifest to the DSD clerk, who should in turn be filing it in your store's DSD manifest binder. Remember, the country of origin information must be retained for 1 year for USDA country of origin labeling traceback inspections. Generally, the DSD clerk should keep the manifest in the binder through the current month, at which time it can be transferred to the box for storage at the store for the rest of the year. This concludes the Brookshire Brother Country of Origin Labeling Training module. If you have any questions or concerns regarding COOL, you can contact the Brookshire Brothers Food Safety Compliance Officer at 936-295-5461, a member of the Brookshire Brothers Training Department at one of our extensions. You can also visit the USDA's COOL website for additional information. Thank you for your time and attention. We appreciate all that you do. As you continue to implement these rules at your store, remember that this is about providing the best possible experience for your customer as they shop with someone they know.